Well, we got some snow last night. Hey, birdies. Good morning. All the chickadees are up. It's been snowing all night, and it's going to snow all day. So, time to put the beans on. Well, it's really early in the morning, and I'm making old-fashioned baked beans. Now, this is an old recipe that our family have been doing for a long time, and I'm going to do that today. So overnight, I soaked 3 pounds of white pea beans in water. So that's been soaking all night. I'm going to drain it, and now we're going to add it in a pot of water for 30 minutes and boil it. So now that they're in the pot, they're fully covered with water, I'm going to put it in there for 30 minutes, and I'm going to boil them until they're nice and tender. Once they're ready, they'll be nice and tender. Now, once you put them in the oven, they will not go any more tender than they are right in this pot. So you got to make sure they're at the texture that you want. So 30 minutes, well, 30, 40 minutes in boiling hot water. So while we wait for those beans to boil, I'm going to cut up some salted pork. I have 3 packages because I have 3 pounds of beans. So, salted oink oink it is. I'm also going to cut up some onion. So I'm going to cut up 3 white onions, yellow onions. It's really early this morning. I've been up since pretty much 4 o'clock in the morning because someone called my phone at 4 in the morning and wouldn't talk. I don't know who the person was. I had to block another person. I don't like when people call me in the middle of the night. So now, here I am, early, making some beans. My Christmas beans. Now, I don't want really big chunks in my beans, so I'm going to cut them pretty small. Chop them up. Oh, I guess I could have put it in the chopper. Maybe that's what I'll do. So Jay picked this up for me last year, and I never used it. So I don't even know if it works right or if it works well. So let's put these in here. Actually, I'm going to pre-cut just a little bit. It's easier to fit in there. Let's try this new concoction. Let's try this new machine that Jay bought me. So I guess you pull it like this. Oh yeah, it does work. Just a matter of holding it right. Okay, I need some more lighting in here. Let's just go over here. There. Okay, so let's try this baby. You don't have to plug it in. Works very well. Look at that. It works great. Great! I like that Tony the Tiger there on TV. Great! Great! Okay, so I'm just gonna put that aside in a bowl. Wow, that's fun to play with. I like that little thing. I like this little thing. Natty's got a new toy. Natty's got a new toy. Oh, shit. There you go. You just press down on it, I guess. Pressing the button. I don't know. I don't even know what that button's for. I think I got too much in there. Yeah, I have too much in there. I just realized these are cut too small. But it's okay. As long as I got the taste of onion, it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to use my big turkey pan for this because it gives me lots of room to play with. So I'm just going to put the onions at the bottom. Where's my magic spoon? Don't waste any of that goodness. I have the bowl with 3 chopped up onions. Just kind of spread it around here. Now I'm going to cut up the salted pork as well. We're going to add that to the onions. Okay, so I'm going to cut the salted pork. Now you could use pork shoulder if you want, but I prefer the salted pork. This knife is not very sharp. Let me just get another knife here. Let's see. Yeah, better. So I don't want to cut too big of a piece, so they're going to be about this size here. Let's take a peek at the beans. Now here's the thing, guys. You don't want to leave your stove. You gotta stick around in the kitchen because it could overflow very easily. But I always put a spoon across like this so it won't overflow. But if you go like this and leave it like that, it will overflow. So I have about 8 minutes left. And I think they'll be ready in 8 minutes. I don't think I'll need the extra time. Of course, it's early morning and you're going to catch me in my pajamas, which is fine. I just want to talk about the weather. We're getting a doozy. Here in Ontario, we're getting a lot of snow. So we're expecting a lot of snow today, all day today, all night tonight, all day tomorrow for Christmas Eve, and all night tomorrow for Christmas Eve. So there's a weather advisory, there's a travel advisory. We're not going to get it as hard as down south. Down south are getting a little bit more of a severe weather watch. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it doesn't affect us going into town for our holiday. So fingers crossed on that. Okay, so I checked my beans and they're still not quite ready. Not tender enough for me. I put a couple aside. We're going to try it out. I'm going to boil it for another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to put it in the oven. Just to make sure that they're tender enough. Okay, so the beans are almost ready, so I'm going to start my mixing of things here. So I'm going to use some apple cider vinegar. I'm going to use 6 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. So I'm just going to add some sea salt. Make sure it's salted really good. Okay. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Just sprinkle it around. Okay. Let's see. Some mustard. So what I do is I just drizzle it. This is to take away the fart, guys. You know that. I put that in all my beans. So I'm just going to drizzle it on top like that. Okay. Now I'm going to use my fancy molasses. So I'm going to use my fancy molasses. So I use about a cup and a half for the 3 of them, I'd say. It's usually about half a cup for one package. Oh, I think I'm going to use all my molasses just in time. So this is what's going to give the color to the beans. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the rest of this molasses. There's not much left in there. So there we go. Oh, actually, my bad. It's supposed to be a 1/4 cup. So, 1/4 cup. Yeah, so that should be enough. That should be enough molasses. There's a lot of molasses. Okay, I'm just going to take some out just in case because that's quite a bit of molasses there. My bad. Going to be sweet, sweet, sweet beans. Okay. Now, so molasses was supposed to be a 1/4 cup. I have 3 packages, so 3 1/4 cups. Okay, so that should be good enough. Now we're going to do some ketchup. Half a cup of ketchup per pound. So half a cup. So I'm just going to go by eye because that's just me. Half a cup. Half a cup. Half a cup. There we go. Pinch of black pepper. Black pepper. Black pepper. And that's it. That's the mixture for our beans. This is a recipe I've been using for a while. It's the old-fashioned baked beans you get on the back of some of these bags. Old-fashioned baked beans. And it's from Thompson. And this is what the old-fashioned baked beans recipe is. Okay, so I just put a little bit of water in there because it's starting to go down quite a bit and it's still not tender enough for me to put into the pan. But anyways, yeah, 45 minutes and it's still not tender enough. These beans are taking forever. Okay, so I soaked the beans overnight and now I've been boiling them for an hour. So they should be ready pretty soon. Then I have to put it in the pan, the roasting pan, and I have to cook it for 7 hours. So every hour I'm going to come in and I'm going to stir it up, mix it up, and then put it back in for 7 hours on the hour. It's an all-day process, guys. You can't go far. You can't leave the house. You can't be going shopping and things like that. You got to stick around to do these beans. So my 8-hour shift today consists of making beans. They're done. Time to put them in the turkey pan. I don't even know the name for this thing. I call it the turkey pan. Careful not to burn yourself because it's very, very hot. Okay. I have the oven set at 250. That's ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the beans completely using water. I use distilled water. You can use tap water. You can use spring water. use the water that you want, but just make sure that it covers the beans completely. Okay. Okay. Then you're going to stir all the stuff from the bottom into the beans. And you'll start seeing that it's going to turn into a caramel color. That's the molasses and the yellow mustard. Okay. So the beans are going to kind of suck up this liquid. You'll notice it as you cook it in the oven. You might actually have to add a little bit of water. But just as long as it covers it for now, we're good. So let's put it in for the first hour. We have 7 hours to go. So right now, as it stands, it is 9 o'clock. So it should be ready by 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So it will be ready for 4 o'clock. Almost working 9 to 5 there. So $2.50 for 7 hours. Weather advisory. It's winter in Northern Ontario. Squirrels love it. They've been coming in and out all day. Chickadees too. Well, it's been 5 hours and I had to add a can of chili style beans and a little bit more mustard, a little bit more ketchup, and a little bit of more molasses because for some reason there was absolutely no flavor. Now, I've done this recipe many times, and for some reason it has no flavor today. So I had to add a little bit more extra ketchup and a little bit more extra mustard and a can of chili beans. So I'm going to mix that up and put it back in the oven for another 3 hours. Mix it in between every hour or stir it in between every hour. So it's the last hour. Got 1 more hour to go. Yeah, still quite a bit of liquid. But now I'm going to put it in there for another hour. But I'm not going to put the lid on. I'm going to take the lid off. This is the longest time I've ever taken to make beans. This took 9 hours. This was in the oven for 9 hours. So these beans are ready. Took a long time to absorb the liquid. And I didn't put too much. I just put the amount that it's supposed to have. But for some reason, the beans are not absorbing the liquid as much as they used to. I'm telling you, the food has changed so much. This is the same recipe I always use, except for the extra can of beans. I added that extra can of chili beans just for an extra flavor. And yeah, it took 9 hours. 9 hours. It was supposed to take 7. But it's done. And these are the beans that I'm bringing to the family shindig this weekend. So this is the recipe for old-fashioned baked beans. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe, and be sure to leave a comment below. Oh, and by the way, Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you soon.